Hi, everybody.
Hi. I'm here, ready to go.
Welcome, everybody. We are live here with ProCare Health, and we have a featured speaker today, Henry Baker. We're going to call him Chef Henry, and he's going to be talking about sushi, and we have all kinds of recipes to share. He's also going to be sharing about his own surgery story. He had bariatric surgery, and Henry, I'm just impressed with your numbers. I was like looking at your bio again as I was preparing for today, and I was like, wow, I had no idea. Henry and I met each other. We've been at several conferences together. Is it 2 or 3 now? We've been at the same conferences.
Yeah, probably 3, and we'll be doing a 4th soon. So.
Yes, we're going to be going to. If anybody else here is on this call, we're going to be going to Obesity Help, which is Bobby is from California. That's where Henry's from.
Yeah. Woohoo.
Yeah. Let us know, guys, if you're joining us, where you're joining from. And at the same time, I'm going to be kind of logging onto our ProCare Health page. Brittany Patterson Wilkerson, she actually typically joins us for these calls, but she was feeling a little under the weather today, so we're sad she's not here with us. But we are gonna just give you guys the whole roundabout anyway. So let's see where everybody's from. And I'm going to be logging on to our page here. So it'll take me just a little tiny second. Okay. So Lexington, Maryland. We have that. And I'm waiting for it to show up on our ProCare page. Usually if it does not post live there, we will be posting it right after this event. Periodically, we have problems with it connecting, so we'll see here. Okay, so let's just get started. For those of you guys who don't know us, let us know if this is your first time or if you've came to these events before. But for those of you joining for the very first time, my name is Brenda, and we've been hosting these now for about 2 years. We usually do weekly live events on this forum, and then also monthly support groups, all different topics related to bariatric weight loss surgery and people's journey in association with that. And my own journey is, before I worked for ProCare Health, I was a bariatric surgery coordinator and worked in a clinic. And now I work mainly for ProCare. Give a little shout out to our sponsor. For those of you who don't know ProCare is known to be probably, in my opinion, the most affordable vitamin out there on the market and one of the most quality products. We have all kinds of great flavors to choose from. And I'll share more about ProCare as we kind of go through. I'm going to put their information in our little call to action button so that you guys have that. In case you decide you want to check them out at any point. So I'll have that here, show that at the bottom. It'll say a call to action button. So Henry, in that, I'm just going to kind of turn the stage over to you here, and I'm going to allow you to kind of start in with telling us a little bit about yourself and kind of what brought you here with us today.
Okay, so hold on. Hello?
Yeah, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yep, can hear you good.
Okay, awesome. Because my screen's frozen, but but no big deal. Okay, so okay, so a year and a half ago, I had a sleeve done. It was I was like 365 pounds. I lost 135 pounds, and the journey's been pretty good. I mean, obviously you have your ups and downs, but I mean, it's the best decision I've made as far as that whole thing goes. About 20 years ago, I went to culinary school, and I was doing catering, and my day job is I was doing real estate for a long time, and I was incorporating the food into the real estate. But I also would work out a lot, but I had issues. I had like injuries. I had shoulder injury, I had shoulder surgery. I had a broken bone in my nose, so I had to have sinus surgery. I had severe allergies and sleep apnea, and just all that just kind of added to the weight gain. And I just couldn't stop. The weight just wouldn't stop going up. I tried everything between like eating good, obviously I can cook, eating good, working out, but my metabolism was just out of whack. So I finally got to a point where I was like, I'm 365 pounds, I'm closer to 400 pounds than I am 300 pounds, and I just can't do this anymore. So I talked to my doctor, who was super excited that I was considering doing the weight loss surgery. And I had it done, and and now I'm at the point where I am ready to. Well, I actually started a business creating online recipes for people who had like weight loss surgery, incorporating the proteins and lots of good fibers and like low sugar and low carbs and stuff like that. But like if you have the sugars, you're gonna have sugars. But like if you add the sugars, if you add the fiber with the sugars, it helps break up those sugar spikes. So you'll see in a lot of my recipes, I do add extra sugar. Fiber to balance off the sugars that are there, because I mean, you'll see that in some of the sauces or whatever, some of the toppings, you're going to have a little bit of sugar in like the rice fondue or things like in some of the ingredients. So I like to throw in some fiber to offset that kind of stuff. So I started going to retreats, like you said, I met a bunch of good people there, and started listening to people's stories about where they've been and what their stories were. And I felt like there was a common ground of a lot of people asking for, like, they want to eat good, but they don't know how, so they're looking for someone to help them with recipes. So to me, that's exactly what I want to do. So so I turned to that. But then I also noticed that there was a lot of, it's like you go to these retreats, there's like 400 women and like 3 guys. And so my thing is that, I got to get more guys involved. So I sat down and started to write a book to encourage other men to get healthy for them and their families and for their kids, and they have good memories for their kids. It's one of those things that is, I stay busy all day long, but I enjoy doing it because of the purpose that I have, and I enjoy the whole thing. So, and I am actually starting my YouTube channel with like actually cooking instructional videos, and then obviously I have my Instagram and stuff like that too. So that's roughly where I'm at right now. I'm doing really good. In my book, I will put in all the good and the bad. Like before I had surgery, I'm sure a lot of people can relate to this. I was frustrated. I was sad. I was ashamed. I didn't want to go anywhere. I was the big guy in the room that nobody wanted to talk to, and I didn't want to talk to anyone. It was just a miserable existence, really. And so those are the kind of things that I'm going to put in the book, because after my surgery, it just seems that like not just the physical cloud, but the mental cloud comes off of you, and it's so much easier for you to get out there and to find, be open to that purpose finding you and really enjoying life the way it should be enjoyed.
So Henry, where are you at with that process? We kind of talked a little bit, but tell them where you're at with all of that process, with your website and with your new site and with your book and all of that.
Okay. So the website is about to go up probably within the next month. I've got my people working on that. We actually went that last weekend. We actually shot a video, and we got it, edited the whole video kind of thing. So the website's going to go up pretty soon. We kind of looked at like different types of recipes with some with video, some with just pictures, and just the whole thing. That should go up probably towards the end of the month. YouTube channel will be up probably the next couple weeks, just so I can get going on that too. But most of my stuff right now is social media. It's mostly Instagram, Facebook, that kind of stuff. But I mean that's where I'm at with that stuff. The book itself I started writing probably a month ago, and I'm super excited to do it. And the thing about sitting down and actually writing, and I encourage everybody to either write or journal, because the very first thing I sat down when I sat down, the very first thing I wrote about was when I talked to my family about having weight loss surgery. And in that moment, it was a powerful moment because they were supportive and they were accepting and everything was great. But when I actually wrote about that moment, there were so many other things, that underlying feeling that were happening, that you don't realize until you actually get it out of your mind and put it onto paper, and you really realize what's really going on, kind of thing. So it is a transformation that I'm going through with just writing the book itself.
Well, it kind of helps you remember your journey too, and kind of explore it even further. Henry, there is somebody that has saying that your volume might be a little low. I feel like I can hear you good, but if there's any way you could turn up just a little bit. And I also want to just say hi. There's a lot of people that are joining from all over here. It looks like.
Is this better?
We'll see what they say.
Okay.
See, keep talking. Marcia says hi. Denise, Marlene, Tara says hi. She said we met at the last retreat. It's Tara Lynn. Scotty, she's from Washington. Bobby says, luckily I'm in a quiet room. I can hear. I'm not sure. She said no, his volume is low. So I'm not sure, Henry. I turned mine up because I thought, well, maybe that would help, but.
Yeah, let me see if I can adjust that real quick here.
Okay.
Well, it looks like it's up as much as possible. Let's see, output. Is that any better?
We'll see.
Yeah,
Here.
hopefully.
She said same, but I'm not sure what else to do. You could try it without the earbuds. You could try. I don't know if that's connecting differently. Same, but all good.
Yeah,
she
let
said.
me try it. Okay, but let me take these off. Well then.
She said no. We will push through. So whichever way you want to do it, Henry.
Okay. Let me see.
Now we can't hear you. Gotta love technology, guys. So yeah. So is any of you guys help us know if you guys have met Henry before? She said the mute mic is on. Can you hear that? I'm trying to toggle it off for him, but I can't do it for him. Let us know if you guys have met Henry. I think one of you said that you met him before. You guys are pre-op, post-op. Let us know that. That's kind of a fun little thing to take. The earbuds are okay. The mute mic is on. Hey, Henry, see if you can take off your mute mic. It's on your screen. There's like a little button, like if you toggle over your screen, and it'll say mic. See if you can unclick that. See if that helps. Nope. Okay. I wish I could do this for you. On your screen, there should be like a little mute button. It says, it's kind of like you have to toggle your mouse over your screen where you're at, and there should be a little button that pops up, and it has a mic, and it says on and off. Not yet. Sorry, guys, everybody. Thank you for being patient with us. Tara says she's post-op VSG 2020. Marcia says she's not met you yet. Hey, everyone, I was making pickles. Hey, Lovey. And Lovey kind of brought up a good suggestion. Lovey, I got your message about possibly getting reminders a little before this. It looks like Henry's going to pop off and pop back on, so we'll wait for him to come back on. But I got your message about possibly receiving reminders more than 10 minutes before these. So we're checking into that. I just kind of wanted to give you a heads up on that and see what we can do with that. Anybody else? Does anybody else like mind getting emails before I know usually with Crowdcast they'll send you a reminder 10 minutes before. Would you guys like to have emails before that? You know, we was kind of thinking about maybe starting to send them out on Mondays and then send the replays out after the event, but we don't want anybody to get too many emails, so that's what we're concerned about. So we we want to give you guys the replays and everything. We're trying to be really mindful of that. And so we're working with our administrative staff. Marcia says, I like it the way it is now. Yeah, everybody has different ways of dealing with things. I have some other podcasts that I'm part of. Bobby says I keep missing them. I have some podcasts that I'm part of, and I get an email like the day or two before something happens, and then I get one after. The other ones, the ones that are 10 minutes before, if you're a follower of us, if you guys aren't a follower yet, follow us, because on our forum, you actually will get a reminder 10 minutes before. Obviously, we understand that is very close to the time that the events happen. I'm going to copy this so that you guys have it in case you do decide if you're not following us. I'll put it on here. And I'm going to see if Henry's back on. I'm going to invite him back on screen if he's back here with us. Let's see here. We'll try this again. See if he comes back and we can hear him a little better. Sometimes reconnection helps. We always get on the line a little early. Hey, Henry.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, and I feel like it's better, but I don't know. We'll see what these guys say.
Okay. Sorry.
No, it's okay. We were doing a test before. They're saying thumbs
awesome.
up. Thumbs up's great.
Okay.
So, Henry, tell us what kind of bariatric surgery you have and your weight loss.
So I had the sleeve done, like I said, a year and a half ago, and then I had, and then in this past February, I actually had the skin removal and done too. So that was good. I felt like I really needed that to really kind of like finish everything off, kind of thing. I also had a hernia that I had repaired, so that all that was done to get together too. The important thing I want to tell people about that though is that, so as soon as I had my sleeve, I started going to my doctor and kind of documenting my, like just saying like I had bruises and I had like, rashes and things like that. And so when it came down, it's time to actually get the skin removal done. I was, I asked my insurance to pay for it, and they actually paid for it because I had everything documented. So for anybody else, that's thinks that they may want to do that in the future, just get that documented, early and often, so you have a better chance to get an approval from your insurance.
Yeah, and Henry, is it okay if I show your before and after picture, just because I feel like that's so incredible. Okay, guys, what we're going to do is we're going to go into that. So here is Henry's before and after picture. Is there anything you want to say about this? It's been a long journey as far as the weight goes and all the plateaus and everything. This picture, before picture, that was my daughter's graduation, and I just it was very hard to be like to be in front of a camera at that point. But of course, it was her graduation, so I had to do it. And it's fine, whatever. That person is a completely different person than I am today. I actually, did some, in the writing process, I actually did some thoughts about like who that person was versus who I am today. And the thing is, the biggest thing for me was that, you open that person up, you kind of have a conversation with that person, you deal with the feelings that they were having, the bad feelings, and then you kind of put it away and move forward. Because if you keep staying with that person and who that person used to be, it's just going to keep you in that little bubble that you don't want to be in anymore. So you open it up, you deal with it, you close it down, you put it away, and then move on. Yeah, well, there's all parts of us. And honestly, I can remember after I had weight loss surgery, I can remember thinking, you know what, I'm the same person, but I do feel different, And you see yourself in the mirror and you don't even hardly recognize yourself because you change so quickly after surgery. Wouldn't you say? I mean, did you feel that? Sometimes people, we had somebody on here, I don't know if you remember Brian Crabtree. He said when he came on and we talked to him, another guy, and he said he kind of had body dysmorphia. Like his body had changed so much. It was almost like it was not recognizable in his mind. You go by and you see yourself and you're like, wow, that's me. It's not, you don't feel like the same person in that
Yeah,
way physically.
yeah, I feel like there's someone said it before, like you're not that person you used to be as far as that body type goes, but you're not the person you're going to be. So you're kind of in limbo and you're trying to figure out like where you stand going forward kind of thing. So yeah, I mean I do still might see myself as like still like a bigger person, I guess. Going to a restaurant and sitting in a booth is like hard for me to like understand like that whole thing. Getting on a plane and not having that extender is a new feeling. And I think that part of the reason why it took so long for me to start the videos is because I see myself as a bigger person, not able to be in front of the camera. And so that's something my mind has to get over still too. We all have things that we still have to work with, and it's a process for sure.
Yeah. Well, and the journey continues, It's
Yeah,
hard to say what the next year is going to look like with everything, all the new projects you got going on and all the new ideas that you have to help people.
yeah, for sure. And I definitely want to get involved and help other people stay on their journeys, because I know that someone will lose like 120 pounds and they'll gain back 30, and they feel like I'm ahead of the game kind of thing. But to me, like, okay, if we can reduce that regain of 30 pounds to just even 10 pounds, then then I think that's better. It's better for everybody.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I enjoy the cooking aspect, the learning. I've learned a lot. I've talked to a lot of dietitians. I've done a lot of research. I've done a lot of whatever as far as like the whole like what we're supposed to eat, what we're not supposed to eat. And I know that that first year we have to eat that specific diet. After that, we can pretty much eat whatever we want. And let's my thing is I got to fill that gap to make whatever we have to eat taste better. Like it's never gonna taste like a cheeseburger, but I can get it pretty close.
Mm-hmm.
So
Food swaps and all of that is where it's at. And that's why I think the sushi. So whenever I met Henry the last time, I said, I want to do something on sushi because it's like one of my favorite foods. And I think I've heard people kind of like be scared about eating sushi or doing that kind of thing after weight loss surgery. So I'm going to share my screen and we're going to jump right into the recipes. Is that okay, Henry?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So I got here. First of all, I want to share where you guys can find these. So if anybody is looking for this, as far as the recipe sheets, if you go to our ProCare Health website, okay, just procarenow.com, under About Us right here, support group handouts, and we're going to go down here. This is actually how you can join our Crowdcast channel also through there. But if we go down to recipes right here, this new sushi time with Henry. So we're going to open that up into a new tab, and we're going to just share the recipe sheet. So the very first, we actually have four recipes for you guys. We have taco sushi roll. We have black sushi roll. We have cucumber salad and miso soup. Okay, so we're going to just start up here at the top. And I know that this is a little hard probably for some of you guys to read, especially if you're on your phone as opposed to a laptop. So bear with us, but this is available. He's just going to kind of talk us through. And I just want to say, Henry, he actually took pictures. Now, you can't really appreciate the picture of this here. I'm going to kind of jump on my folder here. I'm going to stop sharing for just a second here. And I'm going to jump on to the pictures that he shared of these amazing things, the full-size pictures, because they look so good. And I want you guys to appreciate him. He actually made all of these ahead of time so that he would have kind of like a way to be able to share with you guys an easy way instead of kind of just talking you through the recipes. It's taking me just a second here. Henry, how was your cooking day that you had for us?
It was good. I enjoy cooking, obviously. I think that you learn a lot in culinary school. You don't, and you kind of learn like a lot of everything, on the surface, and then you take specific classes to like really get into more detail kind of thing. But this is like, delving into the actual sushi part and making it a little more healthier was an experience for me for sure. With that said, there's sushi itself is pretty healthy. It's just that carbs because of the rice. So that's what you have to play with. You have to play with the rice. Um, so I use black rice, which is higher in fiber, higher in protein, lower in carbs, and the carbs that they have are more complex carbs. And they have some 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 good antioxidants too, kind of thing. So black rice is super. It's way better as far as nutritional value than white rice. And then I also use cauliflower rice, which everybody loves cauliflower rice. The problem with cauliflower rice is that it is still kind of moist, so you can't really roll it up. So what I did is I put that in a taco, put the cauliflower rice in a taco, and then I rolled up the black green rice.
So let me show them the pictures here too, Henry, while you're talking, so they can kind of appreciate it even more. So this one here is the very first recipe that we're going to be making, which is the taco, recipe.
So this is a taco rice with, like I said, it's a cauliflower rice with, so you can hand it, hold it in your hand. I made it with tofu. You can pick whatever proteins you want, whatever proteins you can handle as far as your stomach, your digestive system is, kind of thing. Obviously, sashimi rice is, a traditional sushi fish, but you can, like I said, I did tofu here. I did two different types. I did little squares, and then I also did like little dices here, depending on how you want it digested. And and then I put that, there's like a jalapeno relish. If it's too hot for you, then you don't have to use it, or use a different type of relish. But what really makes it is the pickled onion that's on there. The pickled onion is super good, and really the pickled onion and the jalapeno relish, you can use that for this, but you can also put it on other things. You can put it on eggs. You can put it on, on omelets and things like that. You can even put it in a salad. They go good. Really, those pickled onions are very versatile. You can do a lot with them.
Okay, so that is that one. I mean, it was making my mouth water whenever I was looking at it. And this is the next recipe we're going to talk about. Let me unclick this one so you guys can see a full picture of this. This here is the black sushi roll.
Yeah. And so this is black rice. You can pretty much make it the same way you make regular sushi sticky rice. It needs a little bit more water because it is a little more nutty kind of thing. So you just a little bit more water to it, but then the way everything else that you prepare it pretty much the same way. It rolls up pretty well, as you can see. Here I use crab. You can use anything you want. You can throw tofu in too, or any kind of fish you want. Typically you use crab.
Okay. And then we're gonna go over these recipes. We're not gonna leave you hanging here. We're just wanting to show you the photos of them. The very next one I want to show you here is this amazing cucumber salad, and this couldn't be more timely because here in the Midwest, everybody has pickles right now. Because if you have a garden, and I don't know how it is over there in California, but gardens are flourishing right now, and cucumbers are a big thing, a staple in our area. So this was a timely recipe for that. Tell us about this.
So this is one of the recipes that I actually added some fiber to, because there is some ingredients in there that have a little bit of higher sugar kind of thing. So to balance that sugar off, I added some extra fiber on there. But this is, you serve this cold. You basically cut it real thin, and then add your stuff, your topping to it, kind of thing, and then it's super good. Like I said, you eat it cold. What I wanted to do is make like a meal kind of thing, but I know that we can't eat a lot. So let's say that you have like one or two little pieces of sushi. You throw a little bit of this cucumber salad in there, and then we also have the miso soup, which is super good too.
Yeah, and really and truly, it's one of those things. If you're just kind of craving a little bit of Japanese food, you can have even just one of these things, or just a few bites of each, if you're wanting to try everything at one time. So here's the miso soup. And this is something I've never had before. So tell us about this.
Okay, so this is the traditional miso soup made with dashi. if you can't find, so typically what I try to do is I try to create recipes where everything's really accessible to most everybody. Like you can get it from like your grocery store, if you have the Asian market next, around by you, or even Amazon. You can get like dashi from Amazon. But if you can't get dashi, you can just use like regular like chicken broth or vegetable broth, depending on your preference. And then he's got you go to the Asian market, you got these little mushrooms they're like Japanese mushrooms. They come in like a little pod, and you just kind of cut them off, and they're super like really nice, really tender, and they go really good with the soup. I added some fiber in here because there is some sugar in there too, but it's very healthy. You can throw in your tofu. I think there's no tofu in here, but I added that to the recipe because it is traditionally you put tofu in the miso soup too.
Okay, wonderful. Well, we're going to stop sharing there, and we're going to pop on over to the recipe handout, and we'll talk about the taco sushi roll first. Now, guys, I know this might be a little hard to read. Henry's going to kind of talk us through it, but just know that this recipe is available for you guys for after. So, go ahead, Henry.
Okay, hold on. Where are we at? Sorry,
Oh no, it's okay. We're on the taco sushi roll. Can you see my screen? Okay.
I see you, but I don't see the screen. Sorry.
Okay.
The shared screen.
Okay. Let me go back, and maybe I need to reshare my screen again. Let's try that. Okay, here we go. And I'm going to pop on. Can you see it now?
Yep. Okay, I see it now. Phew.
Okay.
Okay. So, so we're looking at basically the nori that we use is basically in a traditional seafood. They come in little packets like this, little sheets like this. You can basically cut them to make these little tiny tacos. I usually make them about that big. But then if you use them, you can roll them into your traditional sushi roll too. But they come like this. They come in like packages of like 15, 20, 25, even 50, depending on how many you want and how many you need. That whole thing. And then, but as far as the tacos go, they're like I pretty much, like I said before, like I use the cauliflower because it's the cauliflower. You basically you throw it in your oven. You kind of broil it up a little bit, and then it becomes more like nutty, kind of like a little dried out a little bit. But it's nice because it's got more flavor to it once you put it into the taco. Then we had, like I said, did the tofu. I have there's a mix in there, a tofu mix. I like seasonings that I put in with the tofu. Just kind of a little bit of oil, throw that in there, and kind of brown up the tofu itself. You don't want to overcook it because it'd be too hard. But you definitely want to kind of brown it up so it's nice and it's got some good flavor to it. And like I said, like a lot of these toppings that go with this are reusable for other things, so you can make a bunch and just kind of use them for other things too. And that's really another way I like to cook is to create things that are versatile for other different types of recipes. So you don't have to redo everything all at once. So if you want to make something with chicken that is versatile with fish, with this tofu or whatever, I typically like to make like sides that can go with everything.
So what would you do with the tofu then, Henry? Would you put it in your refrigerator and just kind of save it for other dishes? Is that what you're saying? Or put it in your freezer?
Yeah.
Can you freeze it?
Well, tofu itself, you can freeze it before you cook it. Once you cook it, you don't really want to freeze it because it's going to get all dried out and kind of like too stale. But you can use it. You can throw it in your fridge for for a week or two, and reuse it. But really, between that, like I said, the onion and the jalapeno relish, all that stuff will hold in the fridge for a while. If you make a bunch of it, and then you can, like I said, you can put it on eggs, you can put it on chicken, you can eat it with a salad. I make a nice salad with tuna in it, and so I put the pickled onions in that, and that goes really well with that. So a lot of that stuff's very versatile.
So basically, tofu is soy milk, I'm not really that familiar with tofu because I've never eaten it. Where do you? It's made from dried soybeans that are soaked in water, crushed and boiled, and separated into a solid pulp and soy milk. That's what I'm reading here as I'm kind of looking up because I've never had tofu. Where do you find it in the grocery store?
You can find it typically. I mean, in your regular grocery store, you'll find it by either in the produce by like the vegetarian products, and typically it's usually by the vegetarian products, whether it's like the soy meats and stuff like that. Um, and for a lot of these recipes, like for the sushi, for the soup, you want to do like more like a soft tofu. But like if you want to cook it up and put it in like these kind of things, you want to get that for extra firm or firm tofu, so it's more meaty kind of deal.
So does it come differently, or does it labeled like that?
Yeah,
To
it's labeled.
know?
There's different packages. There's different packages, and they'll say in big words. It'll say like soft, firm, extra firm, that whole thing. So you can, and then usually they do different colors too, so it's easy for you to kind of go back and get
Differentiate.
more. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Okay. And what we're going to do is kind of page up and we're going to talk about the jalapeno relish and the pickled onion. And so, just to kind of I kind of talked to Henry before about this. And he's familiar as well with, bariatric surgery and what people can have and can't have. But we were just kind of talking, some people can tolerate these kind of things, after surgery. Some people can't. So you just kind of got to use your own judgment depending on how far you are out and that type of thing. And also, I just want to kind of say too, I've had my own experience with cutting up jalapenos, and I just put on this wear gloves to prevent burning. Because oh my goodness, I can remember cutting up jalapenos one time, and my hands for like 2 days were like burning. Have you ever had anything like that before, Henry? Any experiences? Anything you want to tell them about jalapenos?
Yeah, they definitely are. They do tend to cling to your fingers, and then if you touch your eyes or you touch like any, your nose, whatever, it does burn. So I usually have to wear gloves. And then once you use them, you chop them up, you put them in your bowl, your rice, in your ingredients kind of thing, and then you take the gloves off and throw it out, and then you move on. You don't want to keep the gloves on because then all that food, all that spices goes on to everything else, and everything else you touch. So they are, like I said, I have touched my eyes before, and it does burn.
Yeah, it's no fun. How about all these different kind of peppers? So tell us about the jalapeno relish first. What the ingredients are and a little bit about those. Some of these I've not heard of some of these kind of peppers.
So I mean, it's obviously you have a jalapeno. A serrano is pretty popular, like the Spanish, pepper, and then just red chili flakes are is really actually the red chili I used here. Is I go to an Asian market and it's like a Thai red chili, and those are really really good. They're a little more sweet, but they are pretty pungent too. But again, if it's tough, the spice is tough for you. You can either leave this off, or you can take off some of these peppers. Like just do like the jalapenos and leave off the chili and the serrano, just because that'll reduce the heatness, the heat from you guys. But all of them really work well together. And then again, we've got the rice wine vinegar in there. That's where you get some of that sugar, and so you gotta make sure you get some fiber in there to kind of offset those sugars.
Okay, so you can actually this one we didn't put that you could easily add in the fiber to that as well is what Henry's saying. And then when we kind of scroll up here too, and Henry, this is kind of going back to the nori, the seaweed, this covering right here. Where do they find that in a grocery store? Because I don't know if I've seen it. I haven't looked for it.
Yeah, they do have them in your regular grocery stores. They do have them in the Asian section. You just
Okay.
kind of look for them. Like I said, if you have an Asian market, they have tons and tons of them, like different types, and it's a little bit overwhelming if you go there and you don't know what you're looking for. But typically, your good grocery stores, even like I mean, just like the regular typical grocery store will have like a little Asian market, they'll have them there, and something like obviously Whole Foods will have some of those, but they're easier to find than they used to be for sure.
Okay. And then here we got our pickled red onion. Tell us about this because you said that's really versatile to be able to put it on lots of different dishes. I've had my own version of that before, and oh my God, it's like one of my favorite things, especially if I ever go to a salad bar and I see pickled red onion. I just love it. And it actually is pretty darn healthy.
Yeah, it is. It's nice. You cut them really thin. I mean, you can like it's really everything that you cut is really personal preference. Either thin or thick, whatever. Typically you cut them real thin. You kind of marinate them in with all the other flavorings, and then when you're ready, just leave them in the fridge until you cook everything else. And when at the end of the thing, you just put them on as garnish, and they're super nice, super flavorful, and like I said, they are versatile. You can put them in anything.
So on this recipe here, you're basically taking the onion and you're cutting it up, and then you're putting it in a jar, and then you're actually taking some of your other ingredients, your vinegar, your water, your sugar, salt, and boiling it. And then if you'd like a little bit of spice in that, you can add some red pepper flakes, and then you basically pour that over the onions and you refrigerate it for about 2 hours. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. And while that 2 hours is going down, you can roll your sushi. You can make your cucumber salad, everything else you're doing while that's sitting in the fridge. And once it comes out, it's nice and cool, crisp. Nice and cold. And when you put that with everything else, it's works really well.
So I'm going to stop sharing my screen for just a little bit. Tell us how long you think that those are good for, those the pickled red onion. I just want to make sure, see if there's any comments or anything like that, because I couldn't see.
Yeah, they're good for a long time. They can be good for like a good 2 to 3 weeks. Yeah.
So Henry, there is actually quite a bit of questions here. It looks like
I'm trying to figure out where.
Yeah, it looks like. Let's start up here with Bobby. She's asking, are these high in protein? Henry, is that firm? And then she says, is that firm? Or no, the Lovey says, is that firm tofu? So I'm thinking she's asking. So that last recipe that we just showed, which was the taco sushi roll, it actually has 15.5 grams of fiber. The total ingredients was 4 servings. The fat content was 14. The carbs was 21. It's actually pretty, I would say, fairly well balanced. And with that extra fiber that was added in, you have 8 to probably 15 grams of fiber, depending on what all you add your fiber into. Then there's
and the other thing is to add to the protein part is it depends on where you're at. I mean, the black rice has some protein in it, but if you add a protein, if you add the sushi, the tofu, if you add like some kind of sashimi fish kind of deal, if you add whatever you want, if you want to add protein, that's just going to add more protein to it. So.
Hey Henry, there's another question too. They ask about does it show serving size? So it did. It was 4 servings for all of those ingredients that Henry had in. So divided by that was the total calorie content. I'll say it real quick again, was 284 calories for a sushi roll. It depends on how you divide up the total ingredients. If you divided that by 4, that would make 4 servings. So depending on how big you make your little taco sushis will depend on how many that you can have of those. But it's 4 servings total with all of that, the content of the ingredients, and 284 calories, 14 grams of fat, 21 grams of carbs, 8.5 of fiber, and protein was 15.5. And then I'll go into the next question here. Does it show, are there different types of tofu? I think you answered that, meaning soft tofu versus firmer, but you did mention that.
Yeah. The firm tofu is you're gonna cook with. You're gonna brown it. You're gonna saute it. And soft tofu is stuff you put is tofu that you put in soups or like miso soup kind of thing, where it's gonna be more soft. Go with the liquids.
And actually, soy, from what I understand, is really high in amino. Some of your better. It's a better plant protein for helping people who are maybe on a vegetarian diet. Do you know anything about that? I'd say you have to be careful about too much soy, but would you say that's a good alternative if you're vegan?
Oh yeah, it definitely is. My wife is actually a pescatarian, so she'll do tofu quite often, but we try to stay away from too much because it does kind of sit in your stomach a little bit, kind of like, if you eat too much of it, it's going to give you an upset stomach, especially in our situation. It's going to, you don't want to eat too much of it, but it is a good alternative to meat products.
Okay. Has your wife had bariatric surgery?
No, she's always been one of those like skinny girls. So, I was always the big guy next to my skinny wife and my skinny daughter, and I didn't fit in.
Okay, there's another question. Plant-based section. They're just telling where to find the tofu,
Yeah.
and it says, which one did you say you used the firmer for the taco,
Yeah.
and then you used the softer for the soup?
Correct.
And then they say nori is found in the ethnic aisle on the shelf. Levy says we use firm tofu for the tacos. It won't fall apart when you're browning it.
Yeah.
And I guess they were just kind of commenting on what you were already saying. Can you use Splenda instead of sugar in the recipe? Especially, I think the pickled onion recipe had sugar in it.
Yeah, for sure. You can use Splenda. You can use it for sure.
Now, I've heard a lot of people on this forum talk about monk. Is it monk fruit? There's some type of sweetener that's a little bit more natural. Have you heard of that before? I'm wondering if you could use that.
I haven't heard of that. I do use, sometimes I'll use, like in one of the recipes I use some honey. The thing about the honey I wanted to say is that if you use like natural honey, like I go to the farmer's market to get like the natural, like, pure honey kind of thing, and it's not as sharp as like store-bought honey, so it lends to the natural flavors of everything else in that like Japanese kind of ingredients. It's a little more subtle. The natural honey is a little more subtle.
Gotcha. Okay, well, guys, we're going to move on to the very next one, and we'll make sure when we come back to this. Oh, she said, I've used monk fruit sweetener. I think it's sweeter than Splenda or stevia. I've not used it, but I have seen it at Walmart because I don't know, Lovey, if it was you or someone else mentioned it on these forums before, and I thought, I got to check that out. Okay, can you guys see my screen with the next recipe here? We're going to scroll down. Can you see black sushi roll? Okay, perfect, Henry. So there's the picture, but I'm going to kind of scroll down just a little further. So this one actually up here at the top is where the serving stuff is. And we have 4 servings, 110 calories, less than 1 gram of carbs, less than 1 gram of fiber, and protein is 2.25. But I want you guys to remember, the only thing we're including in these ingredients on this nutritional information is basically the nori and the ingredients made into the roll. We did not include any of the vegetables or the protein because that's going to be different depending on what you add in. Now for Henry's here, I'll let you just talk about your own recipe here, Henry. I'll kind of scroll down.
So we just did just basic like carrots, and we, like I said, we did some crab meat kind of deal and some avocado. But the thing is the black rice is, like I said, it's just as easy to roll as white rice is. So it's a nice alternative. It's, like I said, it's better. It's got more fibers, more protein, more antioxidants. It's gluten free, and it's also lower in carbs too. So there's, I think that's. Let me see if I put there is. Did I send you the actual instructions on how to actually roll stuff up?
I did not get that, Henry, but we can add it later if it's helpful.
Yeah, we can do that. So what I did is I actually, because you have to use, so we have our little bamboo mat here. So we have our bamboo mat.
Okay, I'm going to stop sharing so
So
they can see it better in full screen.
yeah, okay. So basically, use one of these bamboo mats. You put our nori here together, and then we start to start to roll it with. You put the rice in, put your vegetables and your proteins in. You start to roll it. You start to roll it like this. So hard to do it right now. And then once everything's nice and tight, the rice sticks together. Once you pull this thing off, it's basically like this whole thing is a big roll. So it's a process, a little bit of a process. I sent you the instructions. I'll send them again if you haven't got them. You can throw them up there, kind of deal for sure. I'll probably do some kind of video, sometime soon. Throw them on my new YouTube channel, so people can tune in and see how it's done.
Yeah, I mean, is it any more difficult than what you're telling us though? Just rolling it? I mean, do you have to make sure it's really tight, or is there any special little secrets?
No, I mean the thing is that as far as the rice goes, there is a if you go back to the ingredients, there is a the rice vinegar, some salt, a little bit of salt, a little bit of sugar that you put in with the rice. You mix it together. You spread the rice out so it cools pretty nicely, and then you just put a handful into the nori, and then you kind of spread it out. As far as rolling it, it's not hard. It's just you have to everything's sticky, so you have to have a little cup of water to keep dipping your hands in, because all the rice sticks to your hands. So once you put it in water, it all falls off. But you just start rolling it, and every roll you do, you kind of press it together to keep the rice together. And then once you get to the end, the nori sticks to itself, and it just becomes a roll. As far as you have to have, once you get the big roll, you have to have a nice sharp knife, and then kind of dip in water so it's everything so the rice doesn't stick to the knife, and you start cutting. So, and I got all that explained in minutes. So it's a little like you have to keep your station clean kind of thing at all times, but it's not hard.
So the instructions here say that you have number 4, okay? Well, you have it actually on number 3 and 4. So basically what you're saying is the first thing here is rinse the rice and add it to the water to a medium heat, reduce in kind of like you would normally cook rice is basically what I'm getting at here. And then you add it to a plastic bowl or wood bowl, combine your other ingredients like your rice vinegar, your sugar and salt, and then once it's fully mixed, spread the rice onto a thin layer to help it cool faster. You have a bowl of water and dump a damp towel available to you because the rice gets sticky as you work. Frequently dip your fingers into the bowl of water. And then number 4, here is where kind of you were talking about the instructions starting. I can hear a moment after I'll let you read that, kind of explain, and then I'm going to flip on to the next page with continued instructions. So maybe these are the full instructions.
Yeah, looks like those are the full instructions. The one thing I want to point out is that when you put them in a big bowl, you don't want to put it in a stainless steel bowl because the rice wine vinegar will activate, and some of that will activate into, and some of that you'll get like a tinty kind of flavor in your rice. So you want to do like a plastic or a wood bowl. Okay.
Important. Pro tip, guys.
Okay.
And then number 4, I'll let you kind of explain, because here you have wrapping your mat in a plastic wrap too.
Yeah. So that's one of the first steps. So you have your mat here. What you want to do is you want to wrap it in plastic wrap, nice and well. Just because when you start working with the rice and it's very sticky, it's going to start sticking to your mat. But once you put plastic wrap on it, it won't stick as much. It's easier to roll off.
Okay. And you want the seaweed, the shiny side down, because you want that kind of in the end facing up.
Yeah, so you got your nori. This is the rough side on it. You guys can't tell, but this is the rough side. This is the shiny side. You want the shiny side down because when you roll it, the shiny side will then become will be the top, and then it will look nicer and shinier.
Okay, so I'm going to go back here to the page that we were on, and I'm going to go to the next page, which probably we may have some more instructions here. So I'm going to kind of page up. So here we go. I'll kind of let the picture showing a little bit here too. Go ahead with number 5 there, Henry.
Okay. So So once you put your nori down on your bamboo mat, right here, like, so this is me, and this is all in the instructions. But if I'm looking at it like this, okay, my far end is, I'm gonna put some water on the far end. So when I roll everything up, okay, the end of this they'll stick together, and so it'll become that roll. Okay, so you want to put a little water at the far end. Then you start doing your rolling, and like I said, every roll, like every like quarter roll kind of thing, you just kind of like make everything nice and tight. Keep going, make it nice and tight again, and that way once it gets done, everything's all rolled up, and then you got a nice tight roll for yourself.
Okay, and then you were talking about that kind of goes into 5 and 6, which add your vegetables and protein to the end closest to you, and then use the mat, begin rolling. Because what's going to happen is it's going to press it forward, correct?
Yeah.
Is that what you're going to say? Yeah. And then once the roll is formed, use the knife. And you want to use a really sharp knife. Would you say serrated, or would you say just a knife without any kind of perforations in it? Something that's just really sharp?
Yeah, I would do like a really sharp, like chef's knife. That's what I usually use. And really, what you want to do is you don't want to do like jagged cuts. You want to do like a one roll. You start at the end closest to you. You kind of roll it out as you're cutting it. You don't press it. You just like let the knife glide itself. Roll it out and roll it back, and it'll cut.
Okay, and then I like this little pro tip too. It says cut your knife into the bowl of water and let the water drip down so you get smooth cuts.
Yeah, if you don't do that, then the rice will stick to your knife. The rice will stick to your knife, and then when you make your next cut, your knife then will stick to the nori, and then it's gonna be a big mess.
Yeah, kind of like cutting. I would say like cheesecake or some other things. Like you want to make sure that your knife kind of stays wet so that you can have a really pretty cut. Because you want it to look nice. It doesn't really affect the flavor, but it just. And it helps it probably stick together a little better too if you.
It does.
Have good cuts.
Like I said, when you're working with sushi, like everything's got to be clean. Everything's like you have your clean towel, you have your water, everything's nice and clean, and it'll be really nice. If you start getting like a little messy, then your sushi roll's gonna be a little messy.
Yeah. Do these restaurants, I gotta ask you if you even know this, do these restaurants that do sushi professionally, do they use the bamboo mat, or do they just so professional that they know exactly how to roll?
Most of the good ones will do it just in their hand. They don't need the bamboo mats. A lot of them will, if you go to let's say you go to a sushi restaurant and they're rolling things in their hand, they have it up here and they do whatever. Those are the good guys. Those are the professionals that know what they're doing. If they're doing it down here, they're a little less professional. It's one of those things where they do it up here. So it's like a proud kind of thing, kind of showing off, but look how good I am, basically.
Kind of like at the Japanese restaurant with the guys tossing the knives.
Exactly.
You know what the heck you're doing.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go back to the slide share here one more time. And we're real close on time. But so we'll kind of make this be a little quicker because we are right at the hour. And we got 2 recipes. So we'll kind of go through these kind of quickly. And then we're going to share Henry's information here with you guys too. So cucumber salad. And we have the 112 calories, fairly low in fat, carbs, high in fiber because we're adding extra fiber to this recipe, and then a little bit of protein. So go ahead here, Henry.
So this one's really good because it's very versatile. Also, it's got rice wine and vinegar. You add some sesame oil. Tamari is basically soy sauce, but it's low sodium soy sauce, so it's better for you. Use that natural honey from like I said, like farmers markets. Any kind of natural honey will be more subtle and go good with all those flavors. And then you can use the green. The green chives are good. You can throw them in there and mix everything else. But once you put it together, save some of those chives. You put garnish right on top, and it look really nice. Throw
Yeah,
that on
and
top
one
of
thing.
that, and then.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, Finish off with the extra garnish with the chives and with the sesame seeds, and it's a really good one. Yeah.
So one thing, couple things here as looking at your recipe. So kind of some pro tips. So the cucumbers, I noticed you have Persian. Obviously, you could probably use any kind, but what about Persian cucumbers? I've never heard of those before.
You can find those pretty easily. Trader Joe's has them. Like any kind of natural foods stores have them. They're a little more. They're kind of a little smaller. They're a little easy to work with, and they're a little more tastier. A little more. They stay together easier. Where like the regular cucumbers have a little more water kind of thing, so they kind of like will disperse a little more than you want them to.
Gotcha. And then this is the pro tip here. If you let the cucumbers sit with the salt for 15 minutes, they release the extra moisture. And you can get the extra moisture out before you put it all together. And that will cause your dish to be a little bit, I would say, better because it's not going to be so watery. You're not going to have so much liquid in it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I use the Persian ones because they don't have as much water. Then you still dry them out, and it's more of a salad and less of a soup.
Okay. Oh, that looks so good. Okay, and so down here we're going to move on to the miso soup, and you guys can see the calorie content here. It's 169 with calories with fat 5.25, carbs 16, fiber 2, protein 11. And I'm going to let you talk us through that.
Okay. So with the miso, like I said, you use the dashi if you can get it. That's the very first thing. If you can't use dashi, you can use any kind of broth you want. But then you throw in whatever vegetables you want. Sometimes some people might like different types of mushrooms. You can shred some carrots in there. You can throw some cucumbers, whatever. It's up to you. But typically, as far as protein goes, you're going to do a tofu. It's probably the best kind of protein you can go with. That's what I would go with for sure. And then white miso, you can find that at the Asian store. You can probably even find those at regular grocery stores in the Asian aisle too. But miso is pretty easy to find these days too. And then here again, we're doing the firm tofu. We drain it. We basically this is the actually this one we want to use soft tofu. I guess I put firm in there, but we definitely want to use soft, so we should change that one.
Okay. And there was a couple ingredients I wasn't real familiar with, which you kind of just basically talked about. The first one was the mirin, and the miso, and the different kinds of mushrooms. So the mirin, tell us about that.
The mirin is it's another like Asian ingredient. It's kind of like rice wine vinegar, but it's a little more softer kind of deal. And then the miso comes in a block. It's kind of like a paste. So you kind of like spoon it out and you mix it in, like almost like if you're mixing in like a cornstarch into a slurry kind of thing. You take the miso, you spoon it out, you put it in your broth, and you scroll back up again.
And that's what kind of makes the soup. That makes the soup like a little bit thicker and probably.
So scroll back up so we can see the picture again.
Okay.
So see that thickness and this like where it's like that like nice like thick like it's almost like it's
has a little color to it.
Yeah, and it's got its own little character to the flavor of it too. So that's what that miso does to your soup. I mean, if you use it, it's really nice. It's really flavorful. Like I said, these mushrooms are really nice. They're like these. You find those in the Japanese markets, or even like just the regular Asian market. Those are really nice mushrooms. But you can use shiitakes. You can use other types of mushrooms. I wouldn't do portobellos because they're too thick, too meaty, and too strong.
Mm-hmm.
Oysters are really good with those. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm going to stop sharing my screen here for just a moment, and I'm going to go and look and make sure there's not any questions. Lovey says, thanks for the recipes, Henry. Oh, it's so wonderful. Well, she says, I love going to Asian markets. Just wish I could read all the labels.
Yeah, I understand that too. You can't read the labels, you don't know what's in them, but you're like, okay, I'm going to give it a try.
Yeah. And you know what helps to have a recipe that, you know, that you kind of like this, that you can kind of try some new things that you're not really familiar with. I mean, I had to, whenever I was doing all of Henry's recipe cards here, I had to look up recipe ingredients because I just wasn't sure myself as well. But yeah, Google's a wonderful thing. You can use your phone and kind of Google if you're kind of questioning some things too.
Yeah, especially if you're a vegetarian, vegan, or pescatarian, whatever. You have to have different things. You have to be more adventurous because you gotta break things up and have more variety. So you start, going to different, ingredients, and let's try this, let's try that, and see what you like, what you don't like. Yeah.
So, Henry, let us know how they can get a hold of you. Like, what is the best way?
Right now, the best way is on Instagram. I'm Chef Healthy Henry WLS on Instagram.
I'm going to show them while you're talking so that they can. Go ahead and keep talking, and I'm going to show them here in a moment.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just typing real quick here. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. I'm going to share my screen.
Okay, this is my new email. If someone wants to email me directly, that's that will get you to me. My Instagram is going to be, like I said, Chef Healthy Henry WLS. That's it. With all my other stuff. Scroll down so you can see more of my other food pictures, I guess.
Oh, who's this here? Is this your daughter?
That's my wife.
This one? Oh, your wife. Well, she looks young. Well, you look young too, but.
She's only, she's 5 years younger than I am, but she looks younger than she is, for sure. And so we do, like I said, we do a lot of cooking and stuff like that. So this is my tortilla soup and, some fish dishes over here, my omelet, some scallops, more fish dishes there kind of thing. So we do a lot of different types of cooking. And I think that's part of what I want to do with my business and with my social media is having these recipes that are more intense, little more like involved.
Oh my gosh. Well, and really there's not a lot of that out there. A lot of what you see is people just like sharing a lot of the normal stuff. So I'm putting your Instagram fold on here too, that people can kind of connect with you.
Yeah, and once I get my website going, and I'll send you my YouTube channel. I'll send that stuff to you so you can post that too, and I'll be posting that obviously too. But yeah, for sure. A lot of what I'm going to be doing is going to be videos, like instructional videos on how to do certain things, how to make just like a lot of foods that you're not going to see on Instagram for sure.
Absolutely. Well, yeah. I mean, thank you so much, Henry. And I'm going to just share one other thing. GC says, thank you. Enjoy the unique recipes for berry patients. We'll share with our support group. Wonderful. You please do share away. And I'm also going to share, for those of you guys who are new to ProCare, I'm going to kind of share, we've been kind of starting to do like a little problem solution statement, and I just want to kind of share one kind of new product with ProCare. I wouldn't say it's new to our whole ProCare scene, but it's maybe new to you. If you're like looking for other little healthy between the meal snacks, ProCare actually does have something that's called Ostrum. They're meat sticks that are low in carbs, low in calories and fat, and they can give you the highest protein snack. We're a vendor for them. I'm going to exit out of here, stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to just show you how you can. Did I stop sharing? I think I did. I'm going to show everybody how they can find those on the ProCare website if you're looking for some little snacks. I'm actually back up on our support group page, but if I just go to the main page by clicking ProCare, they're under products, proteins, and we actually, the vendor here, we have different forms of them. We have beef and elk, turkey, and beef and ostrich, and chicken. Oh my God, they're one of my very favorite products. I'm sharing this because I think a lot of people don't even know that we carry Ostrum sticks, and they're such a good little thing to have on hand. So if you guys, by the way, if you've never heard of ProCare Health, you guys can log on here to our website, and you can click on this free sample button. We offer free samples of our vitamins and supplements, and you can put your name and address and all of that in here, and we'll send you some free products. So check us out if you've never checked it out. Checked out ProCare. The reason why I fell in love with ProCare was because a couple things. They're low cost, their affordability, their innovation to try new products, their honestly their quality, because they third party test every single batch of vitamins. So love them. And Henry, thank you. We really look forward to knowing more about your website, to knowing more about your new ventures with your cooking, and we also look forward to knowing more about your book. We're going to have you back when you kind of get everything situated. Anybody have any ideas what they'd like for Henry to cook the next time? Let us know.
Yeah. So what I getting myself set up for is to do actual like live cooking demos on with you guys. So I'll take you guys into my kitchen. I could do I can cook something for you guys. We can do something like that. I can do like holiday menus. I could then in the spring we'll do like more spring kind of menus, things like that. And I like to do a lot of seasonal stuff, a lot of like nutrient dense foods and stuff like that. So and then anybody wants to email me or contact me, DM me, whatever. Ask me anything about food. I love talking about food. Food's awesome, especially these days. Just the nutritional values of foods and how good they are, for sure. Yeah.
And I'm also going to mention too, if you guys want to meet Henry in person, he's going to be at this conference along with all of us, and I am going to take and put the Obesity Health Conference. It's in Costa Mesa. Am I saying it right, California?
Costa Mesa.
Costa Mesa. Thank you.
Yes.
So I'm putting the link here in case anybody wants to check that out. It's a patient-centered conference, but also professionals. Some of you guys are professionals. GC's a professional. Some of you guys may want to just come check it out for your program too, as well. There'll be lots of speakers, lots of different people there talking on all different subjects, and vendors. ProCare Health will be there as a vendor, so I'll be at their vendor booth, and actually I'm going to be leading a patient panel. I'm excited. It's going to be a panel of people, question and answer, so that's always fun. So I think that's everything. Henry, I'll send you an email this afternoon, and I want to just thank you again for being here with us.
Oh yeah,
spending
no problem.
time.
It's my pleasure. Yeah, and like I said, we let's do something else. A different type of ethnicity, or just a different type of food. If you want to just do like a bunch of fish dishes, a bunch of meat dishes, whatever, I'm open. I'm always cooking. So.
Well, guys, this actually, if you want to comment even after, if you're thinking about it and you want to comment after, we can see the comments. So let us know if you have something special you want us to make. But thank you, everybody, and everybody have a wonderful day. I mean, it's a Wednesday and it's hump day, so they're thanking you. Denise says thank you, and I know everybody else is thanking you too. So
yeah, for sure.
So everybody take care, and I'll be posting this on Facebook. It looks like it didn't post there for some reason, but we'll be putting it on there too. So guys, take care. Have a great afternoon, and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Bye.